At dinner, I tell Mom and Dad and Thomas about the tree and how well the convincing worked. "Well done, Lucy," Dad says. Thomas makes a loud buzzing noise, and a piece of broccoli falls over on his plate. See what happens when a group of like-minded people peacefully share their opinions in an organized fashion, Mom asks, beaming. More sawing comes from Thomas's direction. Another piece of broccoli falls. "Thomas, what are you doing?" Dad asks. "Cutting down trees." "Well, cut them all down, and then eat them all up," Mom tells him. I think Mom knows that is probably not going to happen. They are going to plant a new tree tomorrow, and Cora and I get to be the student representatives. "Wonderful," Dad says. "What will you have to do as a student representatives?" "I don't know," I shrug. "Maybe run the digger?" Mom and Dad laughs like something is very funny. Thomas cuts down more broccoli. The next morning I am ready extra early. I cannot wait to find out how the Granite City Garden Club is going to plant a giant oak tree in front of our school. I am thinking it could involve a helicopter, or maybe two. When I get off the bus, I don't see any large equipment, but I am not worried. The tree planting ceremony isn't until 3 o'clock. On the way into the building, I noticed something on the ground. I walked over to get a closer look. Right in the middle of the grass is a bird's nest. It is small and perfectly round, and it is empty. I picked it up and looked towards the sky. There are no trees in front of the building. It must have blown here from the other side of the schoolyard. I'm so interested in the nest. I don't notice Stewart and Colin standing beside me. "What is that?" Colin asks. Stewart answers, "Even though it's my nest, it's just an old bird's nest. It is nothing." "It is nothing," I say. "It is a specimen." The boys laugh and run inside. 2 weeks into the school year and they still don't get the rule about walking feet. When I get to room 2C, I show my specimen to Miss Flipper, and she thinks it is a sparrow's nest, but she cannot be sure without seeing some eggs. She says I have a good eye for observation, and I should put it on the counter in the science lab. It actually fits nicely there because the science lab has turned into our woodland habitat. On my way to the back of the room, I pass Stewart and Colin. "It isn't nothing," I inform them. "It is a sparrow's habitat." All morning I glance out of the window, but no backhoe yet, and no tree either. What's taking so long? Squirrels everywhere are counting on those Granite Sea Garden people to get that tree planted. I look at the clock a lot in the afternoon, and finally at 5 minutes before 3 o'clock, Miss Flippo leads room 2C out of the front doors of the school. Mrs. James and a man in a green hat are standing beside a little hole in the garden. Are standing beside a little hole in the ground. When all kids and teachers have gathered outside, Mrs. James asks for her helpers to come to the front of the crowd. That is me and Cora. "Welcome to our tree planting ceremony," Mrs. James announces. "It is a special day at Granite City Elementary School." Mrs. James may be talking, but my ears are not listening. Instead, my eyes are looking. Where is the big tree? Where's the big hole? I search the sky for the helicopter that is going to bring the giant oak tree. the giant white oak tree, but there are no helicopters. And then I hear my name. Isn't that right, Lucy? Huh? Mrs. James and her big round glasses are looking at me. Cora is looking at me. The teachers are looking at me. The whole school is looking at me. Mrs. James sighs a big sigh. Lucy? Yes, ma'am. It is because you're convincing. It is because of your convincing that we are here today. It was your idea to plant a new tree. Yes. Um, yes, I say. So, Mrs. Jane, where is the new tree? The man in the green hat turns around and picks something off the ground. Here's the tree, he says. And I cannot believe my eyes. The man with the green hat isn't holding a tree. He is holding a plant. That's not an oak tree, I blurted out. Mrs. James' eyebrows are back. The man in the green hat chuckles. Sure it is. It is a white oak seedling. A seedling? A baby tree? How are squirrels supposed to run up and down a baby tree? How am I supposed to watch the squirrels from my second grade window run up and down a baby tree? Then Mrs. James put a tiny tree in a tiny hole and hands me a tiny shovel. Miss Lucy Watkins will now throw the first shovel full of dirt in the hole. Cora holds the tiny tree steady while I take a tiny bit of dirt and scoop it into the tiny hole. The whole school claps and cheers. For a seedling, can you believe that? After the ceremony, when the kids from room 2C are back in their seats, Miss Fleetwood calls me up to her desk. She smiles really big at me. You did a fine job, Lucy. I'm sure you are very happy to see that new tree. I shrugged. I guess so. You don't sound happy. I thought the tree would be bigger, lots bigger, big enough for the squirrels to play in. Oh, Lucy, it will be. One day it will be tall and strong and mighty just like the one that was cut down. But that will take a long time. A long, long time. You are right. It will take years, many years. I let out a big sigh just like Mrs. James. Well, if I had known that I would have asked them to plant it outside the high school.